Erectile dysfunction, ED, is the persistent inability to achieve or maintain an erection, and it can signal broader cardiometabolic problems. If ED appears suddenly with chest pain, shortness of breath, or neurologic symptoms, seek urgent care. Otherwise, book an evaluation. Recent observational research, including a 2023 NHANES analysis, associates higher lycopene intake from cooked tomatoes, watermelon, pink grapefruit, papaya, with about 30% lower odds of ED after adjusting for key factors. This is an association, not proof of causation, but adding lycopene-rich foods is a simple, food-first step worth considering. Read on to see how to reach 6 to 12 milligrams per day safely.
What if a simple, really vibrant ingredient, something you probably already have in your kitchen, held a surprising, kind of powerful secret for men's health, especially in an area that's, well, often pretty difficult to discuss?
That's a really compelling thought, isn't it? It's funny how often the most impactful stuff is just hiding right there, in our everyday foods.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into lycopene. That's that brilliant compound that gives so many fruits and vegetables those beautiful red and pink colors.
Right.
Our mission for you is really to unpack what lycopene actually is, look at its scientifically backed health benefits, with a real focus on a recent and honestly pretty eye-opening discovery about men's health, and then, the important part, show you how easily you can get it into your diet.
Yeah, and we pulled together some really solid sources for this. There's a big report that validates the latest info on lycopene. We've also got some direct insights from Dr. Rena Malik. She's a urologist and pelvic surgeon who actually said she was quite amazed by some of this.
Wow. Okay.
And then there's a good overview looking at lycopene's wider potential in men's health. But yeah, a lot of this conversation really spins around a key study from 2023 that seems to have shifted things a bit.
Okay, so that sets the stage. Let's peel back the layers then. What exactly is lycopene? What are the basics?
Okay, so basically, lycopene is a carotenoid. You can think of it like a natural pigment. It's what gives things like tomatoes and watermelon that red or pink color. But it's way more than just color for your plate.
Right. So what's its main job then in our bodies?
Well, its biggest role is as a really powerful antioxidant. What that means is it helps protect your cells from damage caused by these unstable things called free radicals.
Ah, okay. I've heard of those.
Yeah, they can contribute to all sorts of health issues. So this antioxidant power is really the foundation for most of the health benefits people talk about with lycopene.
And where do we find it? Where's the best place to get this nutrient?
You're probably eating it already, actually. Common sources are things like tomatoes. And here's a key thing, especially cooked tomatoes. We'll circle back to that.
Okay.
Watermelon is great. Pink grapefruit, papaya too, all really good sources.
Okay, so here's where it gets, well, pretty remarkable for me. When we were looking into the sources, this urologist you mentioned, Dr. Rena Malik, she admitted quite candidly that she was amazed to find out about lycopene possibly helping men with erectile dysfunction, ED. Okay. I mean, that feels like a pretty big statement from someone in her field, right?
It really is. It just highlights how unexpected this finding was, even for experts, who work in this area all the time. And this specific connection mostly comes from that big 2023 analysis. It used data from NEAs.
The NEAs, what's that?
Oh, sorry. It's the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey in the U.S. It's this huge ongoing survey that gives us a really good snapshot of population's health and diet.
Gotcha. So tell us about the study then. How did they do it? What did they actually find?
Okay, so it was what's called a cross-sectional survey. They looked at about 3,200 men. These men provided info on how much lycopene they ate and also whether they experienced ED. And the main result, a really significant link, but in reverse. So men eating more lycopene were less likely to have ED.
Less likely? How much less likely? Did they put a number on it?
They did, yeah. This study found that basically for every step up in lycopene intake, say from low to medium or medium to high, the odds of having ED dropped by around 30%.
30%. Wow.
Yeah. And what makes it pretty convincing is that this link held up even after they adjusted for lots of other things that could influence ED.
Like what sort of things?
Oh, like age, weight, whether they smoked, other health problems, the usual factors you'd want to account for.
Okay, that sounds pretty solid.
Yeah.
Did they do anything else to sort of boost the reliability to make sure it wasn't just chance?
They did. They used a statistical method called propensity score matching. Sounds complicated, but the idea is basically to create two groups, one with ED, one without, that are as similar as possible in every other way.
Ah, okay, like matching them up.
Exactly. They ended up with 2 matched groups, 677 men in each. And even in these really carefully balanced groups, the result was the same. Lower lycopene intake was still linked to a higher risk of ED. It's a way researchers try to get closer to, showing a real connection, not just a coincidence.
Right, trying to really isolate the lycopene effect. Did they see like a specific amount where the benefit really kicked in?
Yeah, they looked at intake levels and saw what they called a fast, rapid drop in ED risk when lycopene intake went from 0 up to about 20 milligrams a day.
Huh. So even relatively small amounts might start to make a difference.
It looks that way, yeah. It suggests that you don't necessarily need massive amounts to potentially see some benefit starting.
That's encouraging. But when they dug deeper into the numbers, was this benefit seen equally across all men, or did it pop up more strongly in certain groups?
That's actually really interesting. The link was strongest in a few specific subgroups. Let me see. Mexican-American men, non-Hispanic white men. Also men with a lower BMI, so under 25. And men who had high blood pressure but didn't have diabetes. And also men who didn't smoke.
Okay, wait. Why would the link be weaker for guys with diabetes or who smoke? That seems important.
Well, the thinking is that conditions like diabetes and smoking have such a huge negative impact on erectile function on their own.
Right, they're major risk factors.
Exactly. Their effect can be so strong that it might kind of overwhelm or mask any benefit from the lycopene. It just makes it harder to see the lycopene effect clearly in those groups.
I see. This all sounds incredibly promising, but you mentioned Dr. Malik also had a caution, right?
She did, and it's a really crucial point. It's so important to remember this. The study shows a strong correlation, a link, but it doesn't prove causation. Meaning, just because higher lycopene intake is linked to lower ED risk, we can't definitively say yet that eating more lycopene directly causes ED to improve.
Ah, okay. Correlation isn't causation.
Precisely. We need more research, probably clinical trials, where they actively give people lycopene to really pin down that cause and effect relationship. So, look, we're not saying eat a tomato, problem solved. But what this study does do is point towards a really interesting possibility and maybe a very easy win for your diet.
That's a really key distinction. Thanks for clarifying that. Okay, so moving beyond this, quite surprising ED link. What else does lycopene do for men's urological health? Any other known benefits?
Yeah, if you zoom out a bit to the bigger picture of men's health, lycopene has shown up in studies related to BPH.
BPH, that's an enlarged prostate, right?
Exactly. Benign prostatic hyperplasia, or enlarged prostate. Some studies suggest lycopene might help with that. Dr. Malik actually mentioned it's something she suggests patients consider, if they enjoy those kinds of foods anyway.
Okay. And what about the big one, prostate cancer?
There's some research suggesting potential benefits there too, maybe for prevention or even helping lower PSA levels. PSA is that prostate-specific antigen test.
Right, the blood test.
Yeah. But it's fair to say the evidence for prostate cancer isn't quite as consistently strong across all the studies. It's definitely an area where more research would be helpful to get a clearer picture.
Okay, so we've got this powerful antioxidant. It's in common foods. It might help with a few different things down there, maybe even ED. So how much do we actually need? Is there a sweet spot? And more importantly, how can we get it easily?
Right, the practical bit. Well, most studies seem to point to an optimal range, kind of sweet spot, between 6 and 12 milligrams per day.
6 to 12 milligrams.
Yeah. And the really good news is it's actually surprisingly easy to get that much just from food. You don't need complex calculations.
Okay, give us some real-world examples. What does 6 to 12 milligrams look like on a plate?
All right, let's break it down. Just half a cup of standard tomato sauce could get you there. Or maybe 1 cup of tomato soup or tomato juice.
Easy.
Totally. Or, if you prefer fresh stuff, about 1 cup of diced watermelon, half a pink grapefruit. For something really concentrated, just 2 tablespoons of tomato paste packs a punch. Or, if you like tropical fruit, 1 small papaya can make a good contribution too.
Those are all definitely doable, things many people eat regularly. Is there any trick to, maximizing how much you get from these foods?
Yes. There's actually a cool little bonus here. Cooking tomatoes, like when they're made into paste or sauce, significantly increases the amount of lycopene your body can actually absorb.
Wait, really? Cooking helps?
It does. It seems a bit counterintuitive maybe, but the heat helps break down the plant cell walls, making the lycopene more bioavailable, easier for your body to use.
Huh. So that rich, slow-cooked pasta sauce your grandma made.
Exactly. Turns out she wasn't just making it taste amazing, she was also boosting the lycopene power.
Huh. That's great.
Yeah, and it explains why many traditional dishes, think of, say, North Indian curries that often use a tomato paste or sauce base, are actually fantastic ways people have been getting lycopene without even thinking about it.
Okay, so let's wrap this all up. For you, listening right now, what's the main takeaway from this deep dive? What does it mean for you?
Well, I think the simplest message is this. If you happen to enjoy foods rich in lycopene tomatoes, watermelon, grapefruit, making them a regular part of your diet, just might, lower your risk of ED. And on top of that, it could potentially help with an enlarged prostate and maybe even play a role in prostate cancer prevention. It's really about using the power of what you eat.
It feels quite empowering, actually, doesn't it? Just knowing that something so simple, so available, could offer these kinds of benefits, especially in health areas that can sometimes feel a bit, well, beyond our control.
Absolutely. This deep dive really highlights how a simple dietary choice, focusing on this vibrant pigment in everyday foods, might offer some pretty significant health advantages, and sometimes in areas we least expect or find hardest to talk about.
It definitely makes you think, doesn't it? You start wondering, how many other simple natural compounds are just sitting there in our food, holding these kinds of surprising health secrets, just waiting for us to figure them out and, use them. Maybe it's a good prompt to just look a little closer at what's on your plate next time.
Definitely worth considering. And always remember to take care of yourself because, well, you are absolutely worth it.